It's the Takeover. It's the Takeover right here on the award-winning CBJ Radio. We're always bringing you the coolest artists on Wednesday nights, and tonight's no different. Slee Shock Rockers, American Jetset. They dropped their debut EP, Live, Love, Die, on Maine back in 2018. The pandemic forced a hiatus in 2020. They brought in a new guitarist, but in the last couple of years, they're back and they're hitting it hard. The Love Kills EP came out last year. They opened for some big-name acts, and they just recently announced a brand new LP and some more tour dates. We're stoked to have vocalist Ian, guitarist Skins, and drummer Jeff from American Jetset on the show with us. First, guys, thanks so much for coming on.
Sure, hey, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
Well, wow. Big congrats. Big news last week. New album, Devils and Angels, Indiegogo campaign. So tell me, when did the process start? Because you said the songs are written, the demos are done.
That's it. Yeah, about good Lord, maybe 6 months ago even. We had already come off of our EP, Love Kills. We were already about to release 2 or 3 singles over the Christmas break and Halloween, and I started writing for the next record. Just started pushing demos at the guys, and we arrived at all the songs that are on this record, and that's it, man. We're really excited about this one.
Yeah, well, and this Indiegogo, we've heard of Kickstarter, we've heard of GoFundMe. Where do we find these guys?
Well, I've seen them around for a while, and a lot of other bands that we know, they started using them. It seems to be really, really friendly with bands and musicians and things like that. Film, I think it really goes for that more than products. And we've seen it work before, and we decided to give it a shot. This is the biggest project we've ever done. This is this isn't, a week in the studio here, a week in the studio there. This is like a solid month of studio and video shoots and all this, and it's big. So we decided to put up some pre-orders with some perks early to get some funds rolling and get some things going so we can hit this rolling and still have everything out in May.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. You guys are pretty ambitious. The album says it's coming out in May of this year. If you go to AmericanJetset.com, go check them out on Facebook, Instagram. You can find a link on there and go to the Indiegogo. I went and got the $45 package. I got me a shirt,
man.
CD, and some swag.
Thank you so much.
So there you go. New Year's Eve. Holy crap, guys. Back-to-back shows, one with Faster Pussycat, one with LA Guns. What was the better night?
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead, Jeff.
Faster Pussycat and Foxy Rocks, we played with them at the Whiskey December 30th. I gotta say, I think it was a better crowd. I think that people were partying their asses off. People were having a great time. The crowd was on fire the whole night. It was a great crowd to play to. Both bands, Faster Pussycat, Foxy Rocks, they were a blast to play with. And then the New Year's Eve is great. LA Guns, sold out show. We played right before them. Everything was great. It's just, it's that New Year's Eve thing. Everybody's waiting for the ball to drop. Everybody's waiting for one thing instead of being there for the full experience. The crowd was great, but it was, look, had we not played on the 30th, we would have thought that the 31st was the greatest show in the world, right? But that show on the 30th with Faster and Foxy Rocks was great. And we recorded both shows and are putting out a live album later this year from those nights.
Yeah, that's sweet. If you didn't catch that, they recorded both shows at the Whiskey over New Year's Eve, and they'll be coming out later. Well, and maybe New Year's Eve was on a Sunday. The day before was a Saturday. Everybody partied their ass off, a little hungover on Sunday. Who knows? You guys have opened for a ton of classic acts that we all love. I'm not 25 anymore, so I grew up with everybody you guys have opened for. Who's been the coolest? Are they interactive? Does the Faster Pussycat guys come hang out? LA Guns? Winger, Mike Tramp, the list goes on and on with you guys.
I'll say this first, but Red from Winger was the nicest guy on the planet. We've met a ton of nice people. Probably Mark Slaughter, maybe even at the top of the list for the nicest guys. but it's a different environment when you're in a different bar, different place, different people, different crowd. So, it might not necessarily be the band that changes. It might be everything else around it. So, we've played with bands we haven't even spoken to the entire night.
Oh, yeah.
LA Guns, we played with them twice. I don't think I've met any of those guys once.
And we did a show with Steven Adler's band, and that was at the Whiskey, and that was out of control. What a great show. His whole band hung out the whole night. Steven, he shows up, literally gets escorted to his drum set, and then back off and back into his car. Singer Ari, I mean, he hung out with us for days around that show. So it just depends. I know we played with Living Color a few years ago, and hung out with Will Calhoun, which is one of my idols on drums. I mean, he sat in the back with me and talked to me for like 2 hours. Wow. Great dude. So it just depends. Some of them like to just be quiet and get escorted in. Some of them are partying all night long.
Yeah.
So
it probably depends on what Steven Adler's up to with his life. I saw him years ago, and he hung out with us all night long. It was crazy. It was right around the Celebrity Rehab, and he was partying all night. I was like, I don't know if the Celebrity Rehab really worked, but whatever.
Well, yeah, at all the M3s that he's at, because we've been a part of that for the past few years. He's always just there, hanging out all day long, all the time. But that particular night we played with him, I mean, it was from the car to the stage, back to the car, like feet away. But it was a fantastic show.
We play the Whiskey all the time, and that was the first time I've ever seen them close down the entire green room space above the bar. So like none of the other bands could be in their green rooms. They ushered him in privacy, kept him up there in privacy, and then brought him down to the stage in complete privacy. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Weird. Well, something must have been going on. Well, we're chatting with the guys from American Jetset. Well, you guys are all in different states, or where are you guys all located?
All around D.C. and
Maryland,
Baltimore.
Yeah, all around Baltimore area anyway. So how did we find Skins? Because during the pandemic, you got him as the new guitarist. How did we hook up with him?
Well, we were over the pandemic. We had our entire tour was canceled, and as a result, we were just sort of apart. And I'm sure that kind of took its toll on a ton of bands, just like it did us. And over the course of that next year, our guitarist got a little itchy and wanted to move on. And so he moved on, and we started looking for a guitar player on the other side of the pandemic. And Skins actually was already kind of in my mind because I'd seen his name floating around for a while. He used to play in a couple of local bands that were really big. And so he ended up reaching out to me, and it was a kismet thing. Like we were going to all come together at some point. And so within 2-3 weeks or something like that, Skins was in the band.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we started off really fast. I think I had been in the band less than a month, and we went into the studio to record Cat's Hair You Tongue.
Yeah.
Like really quick.
Yeah. Throw you right in the fire. Well, Skins, what's with your name? You should be a drummer.
He is.
Well, I do play drums, but that's not why it's Skins. My last name is Skinzakis, so everybody just calls me Skins for short. So it just kind of stuck. Been happening since I was a kid.
I was going to say, you probably had that name forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even my teachers in like elementary school call me Skins, so it's just a thing.
Yeah. Well, and Ian, during the pandemic, first, I mean, how much did the pandemic crush you guys? Because you guys were on quite a roll before it happened.
I mean, we had like 20 shows lined up and ready to go, and we were going to hit the road. So that didn't happen, but we decided to, we tried everything everybody was doing. At one point we were going to do the distance practice thing or record a video here, and everybody kind of puts it together. And then we just sort of said, you know what, everybody else is doing it. What's the point? So we wrote a couple of songs. We recorded a couple of singles, put them out. We recorded a song called Locomotive. We Rule the Night, and another one or two. And so we kept going, kept moving, And so there's never really any time when we were just completely, utterly stagnant. There always felt like there was movement. And coming out of it, we needed to move on with the band the way we were moving before. So we came out like a Mack truck with Skins.
Yeah, a couple interesting things. pretty much the world went on lockdown on, I think, March 15th or something, March 14th of 2020. We put out our brand new record on February 29th. So the record had only been out for 2 weeks, and the tour, so that was all of that. And in the middle of the pandemic, actually that first year, we got to play a private wedding reception with Kicks in front of 49 people, because that was the maximum allowed in a 1,000 capacity venue. They were all at 2 top tables.
Wow.
Masked up, taking your temperature.
That was so weird.
But it was fun. I mean, when we went on stage that night, the first time I hit my cymbal, I'm like, this is the first live music any of these people have seen in 9 months.
Yeah.
It was the first. So that was kind of cool. The rest of it,
Yeah.
But in terms of momentum, just really quick, in terms of momentum, we kind of kept it going too through the press, because for whatever reason, whether the press was bored or God knows what, or our record just did really well, we got a ton of European press out of that record, even though the lockdown was happening. So that kind of kept things alive too. It kind of made us feel like, we were still moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, and Ian, you got married, didn't you, during the pandemic?
I did, yeah. I don't know where you found that, but we got married in our backyard, because you were only allowed to invite so many people here or there, and I think we snuck in about 2 or 3 times more people than we were supposed to. But no, we did the entire thing in our backyard, down to the hand warmers and everything. It was kind of crazy, but it was awesome.
It was October. It was raining. It was cold. We were outside.
That's right.
It was an awesome wedding.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, have you known her? Has she been around? Does she know what she's getting herself into now, 4 years later, and you guys are taking it to the next level?
I mean, she knew when we met, she knew I was in a band. In fact, I think when we met, we were actually playing with LA Guns way back when in 2019. And then within a couple of months, we were living together, because of the pandemic kind of threw us together and put us into the same house for a year. So whereas a lot of people meet and then they spend getting to know each other over a 3-year period, seeing each other a couple times a week, we sort of had that in a very condensed period of time. And it was awesome. It was a great time for us.
Yeah. Go check them out. American Jetset. They're at AmericanJetset.com. They're on Facebook, X, Instagram. Go to YouTube. Check out all their stuff. They got a ton of it. And they just announced a brand new LP, Devils and Angels, is coming out in May. Go to the Indiegogo and go check out the campaign for the guys. Go support them. Go get a digital copy. You get one for $15. You get a shirt. You get a vinyl. You get all kinds of stuff. Well, we mentioned it. You guys are in Baltimore or around the area. You're playing 80% of your shows at the Whiskey. How is that? How'd you guys get hooked up? I mean, you guys are getting a ton of gigs.
The East Coast and most of the Midwest hates original rock music.
Yeah.
It's just that's the thing, and they love it on the West Coast. So, we're getting those gig offers out there, and we're just going and playing them out there. I mean, original rock music out here, it's tough. I mean, we play the ones that we get. We're usually involved somehow with M3. And around there, and that's great. And there's a venue called the Tally Ho Theater in Virginia. We've played some great shows there with Jackal and Wigwam and Tom Kiefer and the Bullet Boys, and we just played with Kicks there. A bunch but that's once or twice a year. The Whiskey offers. I mean, we don't even take a good number of the ones that come to us, but we take everyone we can because it's great.
Yeah,
well,
you gotta go to LA.
There's a couple of things about that too, because, coming out of COVID, booking shows became extremely competitive because everybody was pouring back into the market.
Yeah.
So, getting into a particular venue was pretty difficult. So you're seeing a lot of Whiskey shows on our schedule because those are the ones we started taking. But if you look at our schedule now, it's a little deceptive because we also had an entire European tour booked last year that ended up getting canceled because of some flaky things. But so you're seeing the big ones, over the last year or so that are all Whiskey, all West Coast, and it's looking like we're going to be spending a little bit more time on the East Coast in the next year or so.
Yeah, the 4 dates you guys announced are all out east. So
Yep.
So
And more coming.
Yeah, and more coming if you're listening to this out east. Skins, what the hell are you doing in Key West for a month?
Well, I went down there to check out the Rock Island Festival, but I've been there before, and we just love it there. So we took the month off and spent it in paradise, and now we're driving back up to cold Maryland, Baltimore. I don't want to do that, but
Welcome home.
Yeah, welcome home. Bust your coat back out. And Jeff,
I know I had to find it.
yeah, for sure. It's still at home. It's waiting for you. What's with your president of Big Curve Music, or what are you doing with kids? What's going on?
Oh my God. Well, Big Curve Music is just our record label. When I say our, me and my partner, we started it. American Jetset, my band and his bands, 51 Peg and the Neuro Farm. We're like, hey, we're going to start a label. We're going to start with our bands, and then we're going to get some more bands in there because, the label situation and also publishing and distribution and all that stuff has been wacky for independent bands for so many years. So we put that together. However, it was all originally funded by my children's music record label called Jammy Jams, which is a lullaby music record label that I started maybe 12 years ago. And it was pretty successful. So we were able to take some of the things and connections we were using with that and apply it to Big Curve. And it's been great with Jetset because we've been able to leverage that into some really cool stuff. So,
yeah. Wow. Kids music pays?
Oh,
Yeah. It pays a lot. I got to start getting into that.
Yeah. No doubt.
Well, that's the problem. Everybody did get into it. Now it doesn't pay as much as it used to.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's flooded. Are you still working at this like pre-K through 8th grade school?
Yeah. I teach music and all kinds of music stuff at an elementary school. Yeah.
Do they know that you're a drummer for American Jetset?
Yeah, that's why they brought me in. I was just a parent. I was just a parent there, and and then then I started teaching the little ones, and they loved it, and so they were like, we want you here full time. So that's what I do. That's what I've been doing. Teaching kids some rock and roll music, and it's been pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Keep teaching them rock and roll music. Well, besides kid music, Christmas music is huge. Black Coal for Christmas. Whose idea was it to do a Christmas song?
Jeff.
Look, we've been asked for years to do a Christmas song. I thought it would be great, and I'd mentioned it enough times and mentioned so many covers that we should do that Ian behind the scenes just wrote one, demoed it, produced it, and was like, "How about this?" He was like, "I wrote an original one," and it did well. It did way better than I think we even anticipated. It quickly became like one of our most streamed songs. The CD that it was on sold out almost every copy, and that was in 1 month. You get to do that, so that was fantastic. We got to play it once. We played a Christmas time show with Jack Russell at the Tally Ho in Virginia, and got to play it live. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good song.
Yeah.
Jeff's
Now
I can write a song.
Now we have it for every year, so we can whip it out every December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jeff's a manipulator because what Jeff does is he bothers me enough times by saying things like, "Oh, let's cover Last Kiss by whoever that is." What is that song by George Michael?
Oh, Wham
Last
song.
Christmas.
Last Christmas.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do Last Christmas. Let's do it.
So Jeff keeps saying that out loud just because he knows I'll go home and write something to shut him up.
He never says yes. He just comes back with a counter already done.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there you
It's like,
go.
no, we're not going to do that, but we're going to do this, and it's already done, and here's the artwork, and here's everything.
I'm not shaking anymore because we stopped at we just pulled into a Buc-ee's.
There you
Oh,
go.
can you go inside and bring Bucky on the show?
I probably could. I know him pretty well from the last 5 stops at Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Is it like Santa Claus where they're just like all Bucky's helpers and there's only one real Bucky?
Oh no, there's just one real Bucky. He just jets around from Bucky to Bucky.
Well, how does guitar work? Because Ian, you're a guitarist. So how does it work with you and Skins?
I mean, so what we both write parts like, for this next record, in fact, has more Skins original stuff on it than any of the previous stuff, which is really cool. And becomes more collaborative that way. But my I stick strictly almost to rhythm guitar. And so there's very little that I'm playing that you'd call lead guitar or whatever. Skins handles everything else. So if you're hearing a rhythm guitar on the previous records, it's usually me. This next record will probably be a little bit different.
Yeah. Well,
I don't write any of the lyrics or melodies. Anything I come up with is just riffs. So I'll have these little snippets of songs, and then so far it's been a pretty good streak. I send him to Ian. I go, "What do you think?" And he goes, "I love it." So
in that voice too, I think that voice.
That's the voice I hear in my head when I read it in the text.
That's good. So far, so good. But yeah, go check the guys out. American Jetset. They're at AmericanJetset.com. They're on Facebook, X, Instagram. They're everywhere. Firestarter, you're going to hear here in a minute. But Firestarter, when I hear Firestarter, I'm old. I think of Prodigy. Firestarter. I was like, oh, well, what the hell? But this is totally different. Tell us about the song, guys.
I mean, the song is sort of about is about my life as a musician, having kind of quit music here and there, but always kind of calling back to that sort of evil twin of my musical life. And that's kind of what it's about in general. But the song itself definitely kind of harkens back to old Motley, the first record, Live Wire and other songs like that. And sound wise, it probably fits that mold most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then the new album, Devils and Angels, is it? What's different? What are we going to hear new from American Jetset?
So when we were in Los Angeles last time, we were playing the show. Our stuff has gotten pretty heavy over time. You know, it's definitely in that old Motley space. And I actually turned to the guys and I'm like, I want to write a record that is a summer record that is all major key material, like something that's it's a fun record. It's a summer record. And so this entire thing is completely different from the previous two records. It's going to be more pop focused probably. Still same rock and roll band and everything. So still a bunch of rockin' songs, but it's definitely more in the summer vibe.
Go to Indiegogo.com. Go and search for them, American Jetset. You can go to their website. Go and support them. Help them out. Devils and Angels comes out in May. Jeff, Ian, Skins, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for having us, Jeff. Appreciate it.
It's Firestarter.
Really appreciate it.
It's American Jetset. It's a takeover. CBJRadio.com.